right. Yeah. Yeah, this guy has been requested and that, and Charlie Kirk used to talk about this guy all the time, Thomas Sowell. Um, so yeah, request some Thomas Sowell, Thomas Sowell stuff, but I picked this because I've noticed that recently. Jews are really hated. Like I know it's kind of like everything's people call everything anti-Semitic and that, but there really is a growing thing of dislike of Jews, dislike of Israel. And there always has been as well, to be fair. So I was thinking, could it be Christianity? Because I've heard that that's why gingers get so much shit, is because Judas was ginger. I don't know whether that's true or not. But then people that was ginger were supposed to be their mum slept with the devil. That's why they got fire hair. Um, so there's always been this kind of thing with gingers. I was thinking maybe it's Christian, but then before Christianity, before Jesus come along and they they didn't crucify him, but they got him crucified, the Jewish people. It goes back even before them, then that they've always been mistreated, the Jews, and I've noticed it recently. I mean, obviously we had a terror attack on Jews, um, which is funny because I watched a podcast and they said that they was planning on doing an October the 7th in the UK. I thought meaning on the British people, um, but maybe they was actually meaning an attack on Jews. I didn't even know we had British Jews, to be honest. I, that was kind of new to me. But yeah, um, yeah. Well, this is Thomas Sowell's take on where the origin of the hatred. Because yeah, I've noticed people, especially at this point in time, are really anti-Israel. Yeah, let's go.
You have a chapter. That's the first chapter is black rednecks and white liberals. The second chapter is are Jews generic? Why the jump from black rednecks and white liberals to are Jews generic? What's the point?
Well, this book is really about ethnic and cultural issues in general. So there's a chapter on the Jews, there's a chapter on the Germans, and then there's a chapter on history in general. So they're lumped together because they're all cultural ethnic issues. And we move on to the Jews simply because it's a fascinating story. Because among the middleman minorities, of which the Jews are the most prominent, the hostility to these people in countries around the world is out of all proportion to any other kind of group I can think of. In terms of violence, the number of Chinese killed, let's say, in 1 year, and by mob action, exceeds all the blacks lynched in the entire history of the United States. And the number of Armenians killed in Turkey, during the First World War, is greater than that. And of course, the number of Jews slaughtered on a number of occasions in history, even before the Holocaust, is greater than that. So that the question is, why this particular kind of people are the targets of so much venomous hatred? And I think the answer is that they not only succeed, they succeed in a way which is a threat to the egos of other people. That is, you can envy a Rockefeller, but he's no threat to your ego because you say, listen, anybody can be rich if he's born a Rockefeller. But the guy who comes here, let's say from Vietnam or Korea, and arrives here with little more than the clothes on his back and a few words of broken English, and a decade later he has his own little business, and you see his son a few years after that getting ready to go off to Harvard or MIT, you got to ask yourself, you either got to, you've got to hate yourself for saying, my God, I've been stagnating. This guy was nothing, and now he's risen up. Or you're going to have to hate him. And most people, when they have a choice between hating others and hating themselves, they hate others.
Where does the hatred for the Jews come from in history?
Number of places, but they are people who have succeeded an awful lot in the midst of other people who have not. Years ago, one official of one of the Jewish organizations in New York asked me, well, what can Jews themselves do in order to minimize the hostility they face? I gave him a one-word answer: fail. Because as long as you succeed, you're going to be hated.
So the source is success.
It's not only the success, it's the success starting in poverty, as the Jews did in the United States and in many other countries. And so you not only see them succeed, you see them rise up from the bottom, past other people. The people they've passed don't like it. But there's also the fact that the role they play economically has never been understood. They're middlemen or they're money lenders, And the argument is they really aren't producing anything. You can't see anything tangible that they don't stand at a production line turning out widgets. And so the argument is that they're not producing anything. They're simply gratuitously inserting themselves between the producer and the consumer, and they're
Mm.
parasites, essentially. And this argument has been made, again, not only about the Jews, but about similar groups around the world. And in a number of places, they have expelled those people or forced them out by mob actions, forced them to flee. And after they've left, the economy has collapsed. But it never teaches the lesson that, no, they were doing something.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad he actually said that at the end because that makes sense. Because when he said they're a middleman group, I was thinking, what's that mean? What's that mean? Because I was thinking Christianity is more of a middleman group between Jews and Islam. But yeah, that makes sense that they do take them positions where, yeah, they're not producing anything. But I think, yeah, that's a good point too, is that it's jealousy. It's one of the seven deadly sins, envy. It's one of the what kills, who's it? Didn't Pablo Escobar say that jealousy kills more people in Colombia than bullets? And it's so true. And yeah, when people are successful, consistently successful, despite odds, yeah, people resent it. But we have that a lot. That's what I mean. The Jews, I didn't even think we don't have a crazy thing of Jews. That's why it's crazy that they got attacked. Like they're such a quiet, not bothering anybody religion in our country, to the point I've never, it ain't like Jehovah's Witness. They're always knocking on my door. Do you know what I mean? Jews keep themselves to themselves as far as I can tell. I didn't even, until they got attacked the other day, I didn't think we had a great deal. But we have it with all the other, like Africans. Africans come here and they can't believe how much English people take free education. They can't, like, that baffles them that we don't take advantage of what we have to take advantage of, where they will. Do you know what I mean? They don't give a shit. That's why they come in here. They're coming here for them opportunities. Like, and they, like, you have conversations with them. They're like they can't understand why you don't go on to college and things like this. And yeah, there's a different mindset and different ethics to different groups of people. It's like Asians. Asians always do well. I say all the time, no one's Indians own every shop in our country pretty much, and no one cares. No one actually cares. Like, you'll never see anybody rallying against why aren't English people owning shops. No one gives a shit because they just kind of come and they did it. They conquered our shops basically, but they're good at it. No one cares. No one cares that they excel in that thing and have really cornered that market. Asians are the most successful in the West. Um, this is why the whole thing of white privilege doesn't make sense, because actually white people are only, not in our country either, black people outdo white people in our country in just about everything. But I know America's different. Black people are the bottom. But really, it doesn't matter where you are in the West. Black and white think they're fighting for top, but they're actually fighting for not being last, really, because every other demographic of people outdoes us, laps us in outdoing us. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, jealousy that they move into positions, banking. That's the one that people don't like. That they go into banking and they get into positions of power. But yeah, yeah. I have to get his book. I have to see what did they say his book. 'Cause, yeah, I won't mind listening to his, but I'll just look it up. Or Thomas Sowell audio books. But yeah, and you could see what he was saying about understand how he understands groups, because this is what Charlie Kirk said about this guy. He's an economist. And it makes sense because the way he looks at groups of people is their economic positions. And I'm glad that he kind of made that clear, that the Jews are a middleman. They're not they're money loaners, and yeah. But then it's don't hate the game, hate the player. That's the thing. No, don't hate the player, hate the game. But yeah, we'll have to do more of Thomas Sowell. Request some more of him. But yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.